All right, folks, maybe we are back. Let's find out. Let us know how the quality is. We tried to troubleshoot a couple things, restarted, and then we'll see. So I see a couple folks. Oh, that's live right now. And let's see. What do you guys say? Is it better? I look crisp. No audio.
We can hear it on my MacBook. We tried to troubleshoot.
Yep, there's audio.
And then
okay.
We'll see.
Looks like we're pretty good. Sounds better. Looks good. Hi, fixed. All right. People say we are good to go. Well, we'll give folks a couple minutes to get here, and then we'll get started again. Fun. Could be an update. Could be Ecamm. I think Ecamm needed to be updated maybe, but you never know. You never know. You don't do the updates because you try to be careful and it doesn't work, and you do the updates and then it doesn't work. So who knows? So what were we saying? Not much. We were that's what we were saying. If you missed it, it's still the same. And part 108. Yes, we were talking about part 108. How difficult and complex it is of a regulation, and how we were working on a video right now to try to explain it to you folks and try to keep it as simple as possible. But holy smokes, yeah, I spent most of my weekend reading it. Jason did the same. We spent most of the rest of last week reading it as well, and so it's been kind of a full-time job, but get a good handle on it now, I think until we start talking and we're like, hey, what happens in this case? And then we were like, well, let's go fumble through all the regulation. Anyways, let's get to the questions. Maybe we can start with a couple. Let's see. We have more people coming in now, so it's good. So if you're not familiar, if you missed my first announcement earlier, we answer all your questions. Put them in the comments. Jason is going to look at them, and then we will be able to read them and answer them. So starting today. And I don't think I got to any questions yet so far. Okay, Yellow Rose Drones said earlier, what application or service do you recommend for doing volumetric stockpiles? Does your mapping course cover this topic? Yes, the course does cover this topic. If we have Jared in the chat, he was here earlier. I don't know if he's still here, but he would be able to also help you with the proper software. Pix4D is definitely one of them available out there. There's a couple other options as well. So, but yeah, that's one of the options, and yes, it is covered in the course. All right, Jeriton says, if a drone pilot has an active NOTAM and in progress of work, but an airplane crop duster shows up to the area, who has the right of way? Would it be reportable violation committed by the airplane? Remember, NOTAMs are just notices. They're notices to airmen now, again. And they are not a blocking of airspace. They're not a reservation of airspace. You, as the pilot, always have to give way to manned aircraft, including crop dusters. So it's good to remind crop dusters that they should be reading the NOTAMs, but it does not give you priority by any way, shape, or form. You still have to maintain that separation with manned aircraft, even those that enter the NOTAM area. Tom's Journey says, I work for a Class 1 railroad and they are federal contractor. Are they allowed to use Chinese drones? They tell they are grandfathered in. I do not know the answer to that. Class 1 railroad, they are a federal contractor. Are they allowed to use Chinese drones? I don't see why they wouldn't, quite frankly. Federal contractor. Yeah, I'm not sure. I'm not sure the answer to that one, unfortunately. Eric Rose says, hello from the Bahamas. Have you tried the Potensic Atom 2? How does the video quality compare to the Mini 4K? I don't know. We have not tried that one, unfortunately. We've had quite a few drones to review lately, quite a few drones to create deep dives for, mostly enterprise drones, so we haven't played with the smaller drones. But yeah, I'm not sure. Maybe some people in the comments can help with that and answer some of those questions. All right. Next question is Lewis says, want to upgrade my drones, but where do I purchase any DJI products? Even cameras are out of stock. Yeah, that's an issue right now. There's literally no DJI drones available in the US. And that's mostly because of the CBP ban that's going on right now. And yep. So, find or use one locally. That's probably your best bet. Go on Facebook Marketplace or go on Craigslist and see if somebody is selling one. That's where I would get it. Sheen says, another drone pilot and I are having a debate. If air control indicates that cloud cover is 500 feet AGL or less, and there are clouds overhead, we shouldn't fly our drone even if we have VLOS. So reported cloud coverage and actual cloud coverage are two different things, but keep in mind that if you're flying under Part 107, you do need to be 500 feet below the clouds. So technically, if they're reported at 500 AGL, you should be grounded because you wouldn't be able to take off. Again, reported and actual, two different things. So you'd have to figure out a way to measure what those clouds are actually at, which is difficult to do. Jeff says, two questions. What is the name of the actual FAA test for Part 107? So that's the Unmanned Aircraft General, the UAG exam. That's the FAA test. What is the best site to go through my lesson with an Android device? The best site to go through my lessons. We have an app for Android with the new platform, the new LMS. So I would use that, and it's compatible with Android, and it should give you all that you need. Mountman says, if you watch the Part 108 related drone talk on C-SPAN, oh man, no, I did not. They could care less about hobbyists. That I would agree with. They only seem to care about the commercial pilots. Oh, I think you're talking about the reveal of Part 108. I did watch that. Yeah, you're right. I mean, from day one, the two organizations that were standing behind the secretary there were commercial entities. So you're right. They don't have an interest in the hobbyist. With that being said, there's a pathway in Part 108 to fly under Part 108 for recreational pilots. Is it an easy pathway? It is not. We'll have more of that in the video that we're covering, that we're creating, but yeah, there's technically a pathway. I don't know that many hobbyists, I don't know that any hobbyist, as a matter of fact, are going to be able to do this because it's going to require still a specific aircraft to do that. And I don't see any hobbyists doing that anytime soon. So even small operators, I think, are still going to be left out. Now, keep in mind, with that being said, I'm going to be very clear here. This is proposed regulation. This is not the final regulation. And I know people are going to say, well, yeah, don't even bother submitting a comment. It doesn't make a difference. I disagree with that. We have seen it with Part 107. We've seen it with Remote ID, where the FAA did take into account some things, not everything, some things, and some things change. So I would not say that leaving a comment is useless, but this is only proposed regulation at the moment. So keep that in mind. Dave DeVore says, ChatGPT. Oh, I hate when people start with this. I'm sorry. ChatGPT says I can get an Air 3S from Korea on eBay. DJI expects me to get Care Refresh from Korea and ship it for repairs. Any thoughts? First off, I don't trust ChatGPT for things like that. There needs to be another source for this information. I would talk directly to DJI about this and find out if this is something that can be done. But Care Refresh is not going to be covered if you're not in Korea. So I would say no. I have 4 DJI drones currently because I'm stupid and bought too many. No such thing as too many drones. Would now be a good time to sell my Mini 3 Pro? That's up to you. I personally don't know that I would be selling any DJI drones at the moment. Talked to Jared today, and Jared said he's buying as many as he can find online right now because he's worried about what's going to happen and him not being able to continue doing his business. Brian C. says, what do you think about cities being responsible and funding for drone delivery, the way a city handles its buses as a service for its residents? I mean, I think comparing mass transportation to drone delivery is a little bit off. Drone deliveries can be done other ways right now. Drone delivery don't really add that much to the mix. You still get your package if it gets delivered by a truck, mass transportation is different. Either you have it or you don't. So I think it's completely different. To me, it's not. It's a premium service. It's not a service. It's a premium service. So I would say personally no, but that's a personal opinion. Next question. I see a lot of questions now popping up. How do I download my 5K video from my Mavic 3 Original on my Mac and LOS phone? The phone and my remote ID tells me 5K is too big. Wait, hold on. The way that you download the Mavic 3 Original, the way that you download, you can take the card out of the drone, put it in your computer using some sort of an adapter, and then, that's it. You're going to download that data using straight to the computer. Sorry, I'm trying to make sure I understand the question correctly. 5K should not be too big, and I don't know how you do. Yeah, okay, 5K on Mavic 3. Yeah, it should be okay. If your computer does not handle 5K, then it's going to be completely different. But you should be able to download it directly straight from the card. Creative capture aerial imaging, Amazon showing Mavic 4 and Air 3S offered through third-party seller Digital Village. Would you trust them? You'd have to do your research on that one. I would say, I would say do some research, find out if this is a reseller that's selling other things on Amazon, and make sure that you don't get roped into something. Make sure you find out where it's shipping from. If it's shipping from inside the US, you're good. If it's shipping from outside the US, you probably will not be good. Any thoughts on cleaning and lubricating motors on DJI drones? Nope, don't do that. Well, cleaning, yes. Lubricating, no. Had to do that for Tiny Whoop after crashing, and it's drawer fewer, blah, blah, blah. Yeah, no, I would not use any lube on DJI drones, not part of the maintenance process. Air, condensed air, or compressed air, compressed air. When will Part 108 take effect? So we don't know the answer to that just yet, but a little bit of a timeline. We have 60 days, so we have until October 6th, I think, to submit comments of this year, after which the FAA will go through stuff. They say that they will have a final ruling in 8 months from the day that it came out. So from a couple days ago, in 8 months. So whatever that is, August, so that would be April-ish, April-May timeline. But it's the federal government, so I would say don't count too much on that. I know they're motivated to make it happen, but we'll see. So at the earliest, I think April. My guess is going to be probably a year from now, August of next year. We'll see. There's a lot of things in there that are, I'm going to say whimsical, but that's not the right word. But there's a lot of concepts inside of that Part 108 document of things that the FAA clearly says, this is conceptual. We expect the industry to work on these things. Now, this is not new. This is not the FAA being facetious. This is just how the FAA write things. They write things that are going to be worked on by industries, by different partners, by different providers, and they're going to let the market kind of figure out what is needed. They did this with remote ID, and some of it happened, some of it did not happen. For example, in remote ID, they said there would be session remote ID, and that's, as far as I know, never happened, because I don't think the industry figured out how to do it. So again, proposed regulation only, but yeah, when will it take effect? April of next year. My guess 1 year about. summer of 2026, let's say.
Prior to 2030.
Prior to 2030, more than likely. Yeah. What do you think of the X1 Sky Rover? Is that the one that we just got? Is it this thing?
Hey, is it Jason?
Yes, it's the yellow. It's the B.
Yellow.
Jason is in his headphones. I don't know why, because he can hear me directly here. That's it right here. This is the X1 Sky Rover. We have I have not flown it because right when we were supposed to, after we hung up last week on Monday, we said we were going to go fly it, and then Part 108 came out. Proposed Part 108 came out, and so we have not been able to mess with it. So I don't know. I have no idea what it looks like just yet. We'll see, but we'll let you know for sure. Part 108, I just looked up the cost of ADS-B in module for a DIY drone, and that alone drives up the cost to 200 plus. Curious how these things will turn out. There will be no do-it-yourself Part 108 drones. Think about Part 108 drones are going to go through a similar process of approval as they do right now to fly over people. You're going to need a means of compliance. We're going to need a declaration of compliance from the FAA to approve this thing. It's not going to be potentially you could do this on your own as one person, but the cost would be so prohibitive that you would not. So you'd have to wait for a manufacturer to approve this thing, to submit the paperwork. Now, keep in mind, the FAA says that they need to have access to your manufacturing plant at any time if they need to do an audit. You're going to need to collect data on this drone. You're going to need to be able to issue, we call them airworthiness directives in the main aircraft world, but I don't remember the term they used in there, but something similar. So there's a lot of burden from a paperwork perspective to get a drone under Part 108 approved. So as far as I'm concerned, a do-it-yourself drone is not prohibited in the regulation, but it's going to be cost prohibitive to make it happen. Does Pilot Institute sell drones? We do not sell drones. We let the professionals do that. Embrace the adventure. Did you get a chance to fly the Sky Rover this week? I think I just answered that. Unfortunately, we did not. Papa's drone footage says, why is it that my Mavic 3 Pro will not read 124 gig mini SD card? The largest that I can put in seems to be 64. Is there some setting that I need to change? I thought the Mini 3 Pro was 256, actually. Most drones these days are 256.
I know there's some that only go up to 64 for sure.
Yeah. I don't remember every single drone, but yeah, you'd have to check. You can check the specs on the DJI website. It will tell you in the specification category. And then also look at the speed of the card. It may not be fast enough to be able to be in there.
Some of them are definitely capped at lower.
Yep. The Cosmos family. Let's see. In my new business, I offer a drone service and a small delivery. What's a good way to find drone pilots for my business? Okay, so keep in mind, small delivery. Drone delivery under Part 107 is very, 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 very limited. You can only do that within visual line of sight. Okay, so don't get in trouble out there. I know it sounds fun to deliver stuff, but it has to be done within visual line of sight. What's a good way to find drone pilots? Just like you would find any other employees, really. You can post it on different forums. You can post them on job sites. That's the way that I would do it. Since the U.S. Customs is holding up DJI drones import on suspicious grounds, you say it, has anyone considered a class action lawsuit to reopen the flow of DJI products? It's an option. I have not heard really anyone talking about this, but you'd have to sue class action lawsuit the government, specifically the CBP. And he talks about offline map download on air control. So when you're off the grid, you can still know if you are close to a no-fly zone or restricted area. Good question. I don't know. That's something that I would contact Aloft. They have an email. I'm pretty sure it's contact@aloft.ai or .io, .io, I think. And then they're very responsive. So they might tell you it might be an option already. I don't know. I don't think we've never had the need for it, but I can see why you would want to do that. Keeping in mind, you wouldn't be able to fly in those areas. The one thing that you can try to do is download the sectional charts. You can watch those offline. You just have to find out where you are on that map specifically. Did recurrent training on the FAA website. Do I need to print the certificate and keep it with me when I fly? Yes, that's part of your currency. And so you would have to show to the FAA that you completed that within 24 calendar months. So, yep. Pilot Pete Productions says, no sales in the US on DJI, but will our existing DJI platform be bricked? Nope. That is not the plan from DJI, I can tell you that, but no. And then as far as proposed, I think what you're saying is proposed bans. As far as proposed bans, the plan is to ban future models, not current models, if that makes sense. So any drones that haven't been FCC approved yet would now become non-eligible to be approved under the FCC. Flying Brian says, did you figure out what the next Pilot Institute item for sale will be? Yes, we did. But I can't say it just yet because I don't think we have the page for it. You'll know. You'll probably will know next week. I need to check back with the team on that. Yep. Coming soon. Why would ZideView post a job ad on Indeed instead of posting it on the dashboard? Maybe because they have a broader, reach on Indeed, would be my guess. Why couldn't you fly where you have no cell service? Sorry, I wasn't clear on that. You wouldn't be able to request a LANC approval if one was needed. That's what I meant. So if you found out that you needed to have approval in that specific area, you would need to have internet service at least to request that approval. What's everyone's opinion on the Evo 4N? What's the Evo 4N? Evo 4? What's the N for? I don't think I've seen the Evo 4N. Am I missing something? Jason, what's the Evo 4N? Evo 4N?
It's the Max.
Oh, the Max. Night? Is there a night? Night vision? Okay, yeah, N for night vision. Yeah, well, unfortunately, I mean, we flew the Max, but we have not flown the night version. Sorry, nighttime camera. Yep. Not sure. I've even, it's kind of weird that the Autel released the two drones recently. I was talking with someone who's on the chat as well earlier this week about their light enterprise drone that really we haven't really heard anything about. It came out and then that was kind of it. It kind of disappeared. So yeah, some of these drones, they're just not super popular because they're very niche markets. But yeah. Looking to fly in close proximity to a military training route. Any particular things to remember here? Yes. Find out if it's active. It's more than likely inside of a military operating area. I would contact the military. Oh, that's Jared. I would contact the military operating area phone number. You can find it on the sectional chart, and then find out if it's active, and then find out if that route is active, you might want to talk to them and tell them what you're going to do so that they can either reroute or know at least that you're going to be in the area. Shooting a NOTAM is probably not a bad idea either. It's not prohibited to fly in military operating areas or in along military training routes. You just got to know that some of them are low altitude training routes, and they might be busy with very, very fast flying airplane flying at very, very low altitude. But shoot us an email, Jared. We can help you with finding the information on the sectional chart. I started to purchase a DJI drone, but I hesitated. So what options are there to get some hands-on training with another brand that has an anti-collision light? I would not base my criteria on the fact that a drone has an anti-collision light. It's an easy accessory to add, so I wouldn't limit myself to that. There's plenty of drones that they're good but don't have anti-collision lights. I guess I need more information. Like, what are you trying to do? Are you just trying to fly for fun? If so, try to find a used DJI drone somewhere or a used Autel drone. Are you trying to do something specific? In which case, you should buy something that eventually will work towards that. So, yeah, I need a little bit more. Any advice for monitoring AGL while flying in the mountains? That's a tough one. I was recently in Montana with my Mavic 3 Pro, and was surprised how quickly I reached 400 feet when flying up the mountains. Yeah, we push the limit to the max on our drones, so there's no 400-foot limit. And then after this, it's all about perception. It's all about figuring out what looks like 400 feet and then trying to maintain that altitude. Now, to be fair, we don't fly at 400 feet above the ground all that often. I think most of our flights are lower than that, between 100 to 200 feet above the ground. So it's a lot easier to have that buffer. I personally feel like, unless you're really trying to do something showing a wide area, I think being closer is actually better than being further away, especially with especially with those lenses that are, pretty wide. So what else can I say about this? Find references, bring the camera to 0 degrees, and then fly kind of bringing the top of that mountain that you might be flying over, or that hill or whatever it is, and then try to bring the drone kind of level with it, and that will give you an idea of how high it actually is above the takeoff point, your takeoff point. So it gives you an idea of, hey, you take off, you can see that this hill is like 400 feet above your takeoff point. If you go over it, it means that you technically can go another 400 feet on top, so that would be 800 feet indicated on your controller. It's a lot of math. We've talked to the FAA about this. They basically said, get an idea of what 400 feet looks like, and then try to maintain that. It's never going to be perfect. They're not looking for it to be perfect. 400 feet is, if you go to 405, 410, probably even 450, it's probably fine, as long as you have control of the airspace. Okay? Can I say that I've never flown 400 feet above the ground? Probably not. But have I flown, reasonably by looking and making sure that I was within 400 feet of the ground? Yeah, absolutely. So I think that's really what matters. Thoughts on what to expect on the 14th for the Insta360 drone premiere? Yeah, I don't know. It depends on what you're in. Okay, if you're into DJI drones that fly with a really good quality camera, and where you can have like a fixed shot for real estate, I think you're going to be disappointed. That's my personal opinion. I don't have any information on the drone, but from what I've read and from what I've seen from their promo, if you're into an FPV drone type flying and that type of images, into action shots, then I think you're going to be exciting. That's I think what the drone is. I think it's a drone that's going to be flying more like an FPV drone, that's going to give you a perspective. They even said, this is not about the quality of the image, it's about the quality of the experience. So that's my take. Maybe I'm wrong, but we'll see. We'll see. Eagle Lens Productions says, how old are you? Seems to me that you've looked young for a while. Well, thank you. It's a great compliment. I'm stuck at 27. It's been several years now. I've been stuck at 27, so I don't remember. But somewhere between 27 and 67, somewhere in there. One time I remember we made a joke that I was 70. Is that what we said? I think we made a joke that I was 70, and some people talked about it for months, believing that I was 70. I am not 70. I'm not 67 either. I'm younger than that. But I'm older than 27, maybe, by a few years. All right. What else? I'm reading more comments in here. Any update on DJI? No updates on DJI. The news has been dominated by Part 108. I'm sure it will go away in a few weeks or in a week or so. But at the moment, there's still no audit of DJI. So if you're not familiar, at the end of the year, of this year in December, there is call it a dead man switch that kicks in if DJI is not audited by a government agency. There's a bunch of agencies that qualify to do this. None of them have taken on the audit. So if there's no audit, new DJI models will be banned from coming in the United States, which will look a whole lot like what it looks right now, where DJI drones are not being allowed in the United States because of CBP. So, yeah, that's kind of where we're at. As far as updates, sorry, I'm trying to think about what else to say, but is that an FCC ban on all drones with the DJI name? Yeah, that would be Autel and DJI, actually, both of them. You know what the solace is? This thing. You know, you want to buy a DJI drone today? Buy this. Now, granted, like I said, we haven't reviewed it just yet, but from what we've seen and read, it's a Mini 4, but in yellow. It's wearing a skin, but it's not a DJI drone. It's not a Chinese drone, technically. It's built in Malaysia, I think. And yeah, so that's what I would buy. How good is the DJI Mini 5 Pro? We don't know yet. We haven't seen it. Not sure. Techno Chief 2000 says, what's the realistic timeline for drone delivery to become as common as ordering a DoorDash or Amazon? Ooh. Depends on who you ask. If you ask me, I don't think we're anywhere near it. If you ask me a few years ago, I would have said the same thing. If you ask me now that I've read most of Part 108 and grasped most of Part 108, I don't think it's going to change anything. Now, there's two things to remember, right? There's the regulatory burden that the FAA has put on drone delivery for years, which I would argue is not necessarily going away with Part 108. There's still a lot of regulatory burden. There's still a lot of paperwork. There's still a lot to deliver things with a drone under Part 108, which makes sense, as it should be, I think. That's one. That's the regulatory burden. That's why we think drone deliveries have not taken off, without making a bad pun. I think there's another one. There is a societal burden where is it something that people need? I ordered something on Amazon recently, and mind you, we're not in a big city. Prescott is 60,000 people, 120,000 if you count the city next door. We're not close to a big city. Phoenix is an hour and a half away. I ordered something. I can get it delivered the next day. To my house with a truck. What is a drone going to change as far as delivery? How much faster is it really going to get? Because it still has to get to the depot where it's going to go. So it's going to get delivered in the morning with a drone instead of in the afternoon via a truck. I'm at work anyway, so it probably doesn't change much. The size of the item is going to be fairly limited, although Part 108 does say that you can go pretty high up in weight. But looking at my notes real quick here, for drone delivery, the limit is actually not as high as you think. So for drone delivery, a package is going to be 155 pounds. If it's done with a permit, there's two different ways of getting that. If it's through a certificate, it's going to be 110 pounds. So that's the maximum takeoff weight for the aircraft. So it still means that, that package is still going to be somewhat limited. And where was I going with this? So yeah, from a societal perspective, do you really need drone delivery? Do you need something delivered that quickly? And not only that, there's a price that's going to be associated with it. Right now, the price is fairly high, which I think is slowing people down. Maybe they're going to use it a couple times here and there. But think about it. It hasn't really taken off so far with programs that are in place, that have been approved, that went through the burden, the hurdles of making this happen. And it hasn't really taken off. As a matter of fact, Amazon pretty much stopped doing a lot of this. I don't know that Part 108 really allows them to do more that they couldn't do before and to make it happen. So I don't know. I'm still skeptic, okay? I'm still a skeptic when it comes to drone delivery, that it's something that is going to just take off and become common. Because of the cost associated with it. Now, Part 108, I do have to say, is on the basis of a fully automated flight that does not require a pilot. Now, I don't know if you caught this, but to me, that's the biggest thing that if you had asked me a year ago, is the FAA ready to let drones fly autonomously in the air? Drones up to 1,320 pounds in some cases, or even 110 pounds, I would have said no. I don't think the FAA is ready for that. But this proposed rulemaking is proving me wrong, and the FAA is fully on board with letting someone who's not going to be certificated. There will be no certificated pilot under Part 108. There will be a person, a supervisor of a flight on the ground that is not going to have any flight controls. They're not going to have a control stick. They're not going to have a controller. They're going to have buttons that they can push to control an aircraft, but it's mostly going to be fully autonomous, fully automated. And that is clear in the regulation. This is not me creating hyperboles here. This is what the FAA wants to do with Part 108. So yeah, there we are. I don't know where I was going with this, but you got it. Pew, pew, pew. Next. How good is... I answered that already. Sorry, I'm trying to read both the comments and the questions at the same time. Is Amazon the only place to get Pilot Institute apparel? Yes, at the moment it is. We shut down the other place that was creating havoc with our customers, not providing the things that people were buying. So we kicked them to the curb, and Amazon is the only place right now. It is not getting delivered by drone. You will get it by truck, but at least you'll get it. And we are working on our own store page, but it's kind of fairly low on the list at the moment because we have so many projects going on. So, yep. One says, a big question, has the DJI Mini 4K, I have the DJI Mini 4K as Part 107, need to register as Mini 4K and using the Remote ID module serial number, or need to register the Remote ID module brand with the serial number and just attach the module on any drone? Okay, good question. So, if you fly under Part 107, it's one module per drone. It's one module per drone. Now, there is proposal to change some of that under this proposed notice of proposed rulemaking. We'll talk about that in our video. It's a little bit complex, but at the moment, yes, you would need to register the drone itself. And if it has a module, you would put that with the registration of the drone. That's how you comply with Remote ID, because obviously this drone does not have Remote ID, comes with it. Whew. Next, Stella says, how can I get certified for search and rescue? Do I need a Mavic 4 Pro? There's no real certification necessarily for search and rescue other than Part 107. As far as equipment, I would go talk to your search and rescue team locally, see what they do. They may or may not let you work with them as a third party. They may already have a drone program in place? There's a lot of questions that need to be answered first. So I would go talk to them, see how it works on their side. Are they part of the sheriff department? That's how it is here where we are. The search and rescue team is part of the sheriff's department, and some places are different. So yeah, go check with them, go talk to them, see what they need, and then how you can help them. Steven Jones says, I fly for fun and fly beyond visual line of sight. I fly for fun. Is fly beyond visual line of sight VLOS? Yes, it is. I'm sorry. I should be more clear when I introduce these things. Yes, visual VLOS, visual line of sight. Beyond visual line of sight is what we've been talking about, which is this new set of regulation called Part 108. It's designed to make Part 108 flights more routine. I will 100% disagree that this is what this proposal is doing. It's not making it more routine. It's making it a bit more structured, but it's definitely not making it routine. I disagree with that. What is the best drone for mapping? Will there be a replay of the last webinar about mapping? There will be, if you purchase the $50 add-on to go with the course, that goes with the course to come to Vegas to do the webinar. I'm sorry, you're talking about the webinar. Yes, there is a replay already of the webinar with Com UAV. It should be available. If you registered for that webinar in the first place, you should have a link. They should email you a link. As far as best drone for mapping, at the moment, a Mavic Enterprise, Mavic 3 Enterprise, Mavic 4, it's called Matrice 4 now. Matrice 4 would be the weapon of choice for sure for mapping. Phenom 4 Pro is still a pretty good contender if you ask me. V2. Chica says, to prep for a discovery flight, is flying FPV a good way to learn how to work with winds? Had a Neo up in 10 knots condition the other day and developed a new respect for small GA pilots. A little bit. Don't worry too much about flying with winds at the moment. If you're going to do a discovery flight, just go and enjoy that. Your instructor will teach you how to do it. Drones fly a little bit differently into the wind. Corrections are different because we're going to use rudder in the airplane to do that. There's no real such thing as a rudder in an FPV drone. So the flight aerodynamics are very different in a drone than they are in a small aircraft. RDT Investment says, when flying a drone, which one do you need, RTK or radio ID? Neither. So I think maybe you're talking about remote ID. So you would need remote ID on a drone that is over 250 grams and is flown for recreational purposes. So if you fly recreationally and it's over 250 grams, you need to have remote ID. Most drones these days have remote ID integrated into the drone. Yeah. We have a lot of content. It sounds like you're very new to this. We have a ton of content on our website that is available for free. I recommend that you go in there. We have a guide to recreational flying made easy. It's called Recreational Flying Made Easy. It's a free course. It's going to help you with understanding all the rules behind flying. And like I said, it's free on our website. So go to pilotinstitute.com. We can help you there. Is Amazon the only place? Okay, I answered that already. Yes, it is for now. What's going on here? Oh, it's almost 5. That's what happens when you spend the first 15 minutes troubleshooting. Any thoughts on obstacle avoidance systems for Part 108? I would think LiDAR on 2 axes as well as optical flow sensors would be mandatory to resolve wires. So, yeah, about that. The NPRM does not, and this is not a surprise, but the NPRM does not mention a specific mean of compliance for obstacle avoidance. There is different things that the drone is going to have to do. Remember, talking about autonomous drones here, there's different things that the drones are going to have to do in order to avoid things in the aerospace. There's going to be detect and avoid, which is a technology that is going to sense, I'm reading you the description, see, sense, and detect aircraft and other hazards. There are specific rules when detect and avoid needs to be in place, which is not all the time. There is what's called strategic deconfliction, which is another way of saying avoiding other aircraft that are in the airspace that are flying under Part 108 as well, that are participating, they call them unmanned aircraft. And so, yeah, there's different methods, different techniques. Jason and I were going through the regulation now, the proposed regulation with a fine-tooth comb, trying to find possible scenarios to help you guys understand when this is all needed. We did this for 2 hours this afternoon and we ran out of time. But yes, it's not going to be it could be LiDAR based. It could be provided by a third party, because the third party are going to be able to collect some of that data and share it with other people. They're called automated data ADSPs, automated data service providers. So yeah, wait for our full video and then I'm sure it will answer some of that. Have you folks been experiencing problem getting batteries for DJI drones? We have not looked for batteries for DJI drones, but I'm sure they are difficult to get for sure. Right now, I just need an unbound new and refurb RC2 controller and a couple intelligent batteries for my Air 3. Will I have custom issues if I attempt to order from China? I don't know. I would not order from China. I would order from Canada maybe. And then if it's not a drone, it might be okay. It depends on who you're buying it from. But I would look on eBay, used market, and maybe even, some people in Canada or Mexico. For indoor tours, for real estate, does the CineWhoop need to have remote ID even though the FAA doesn't control airspace in the house? No. Anything that happens indoors, consider it to be no rules other than don't hit anyone and don't get sued because you fly inside over people. Whew. All right. Well, it is 5 o'clock. Sorry, it was a little bit short this week. We'll be back next week for more. We're hoping we can release our video this week on Part 108. We'll see. It's going to be big, and we're trying to make sure that it is accurate and easy to understand, which is the complete opposite of this document. Yeah, but we'll keep you posted. That's our big project for now. Well, one of the big projects. And then in the meantime, we will see you on Friday for news update, and then we'll be back next week, same time, same place. With no microphone issues this time. So fly safe. Fly safe.